you want to welcome more clients into your space, you want to make a lot more money, expand your client base, bring a lot more abundance into your life. And that is the topic of responsibility. Lenka Lutonska here, author of Energetic Selling and Marketing, and warm welcome to this masterclass or mini class or even a little workshop with a very potent topic for those of you who are hungry to make a far bigger impact in the world. You want to welcome more clients into your space. You want to make a lot more money, expand your client base, bring a lot more abundance into your life. And that is the topic of responsibility and how we frame it and how we redefine it so we can, via responsibility, we can grow and expand our capacity to serve and receive. So warm welcome for everyone who is joining me. Loving my blonde hair, thank you very much. Look, I don't ever do these trainings without actually experiencing the topic and the power of the topic myself. Responsibility, in fact, is something I've been working on the very last session and going forward with my own coach. I've been really working on it for the last couple of years and will continue to do so as on my own way to expand and grow my impact to 8 figures. I can say that I'm on a way. I'm so much freer, but not free yet because it came up again. So I thought instead of me just doing it for myself, I want to bring this to you too, because honestly, we cannot overestimate the power of how we, specifically women, hold the responsibility. It can literally stop us from, it can literally, because how we frame responsibility, we can not only feel tired, we overgive, we can get exhausted, we can be resentful, but we create these financial ceilings that no matter what we do, we cannot break through them. And when we redefine the responsibility and perceive it in a way more healthier way, it really can free us up, our energy, our capacity to attract a lot more clients, etc., etc. And of course, we'll climb a lot more energy and a time back. So this topic is very much to do with stepping into the divine feminine and running business and our lives from that place. Okay, so for the purpose of simplification, let's have a look at the 2 ways how we can perceive and organize responsibility in our mind and energy. And then I'll give you 5 specific things you can do to open that energy up massively. Okay, so first and foremost, just a gentle reminder here is that the way we perceive things, and a responsibility is a label, isn't it? And yet the way we perceive something, whatever it might be, in this case responsibility, we frame and organize our entire thinking and behavior around that perception. Therefore, when we shift the perception, it can truly, in some instances, change our lives. There is a huge power in perception. And so what are the 2 simplified ways of looking at our responsibility? Well, one of the ways is, if you like, the lower or programmed mind's way. So I'm talking about the ego mind, as I call it, programmed mind, physical mind, or lower consciousness. It's the part of our consciousness or energy or aspect of our mind that got us to where we are, and it's very human. It's part of our order, if you like. Well, in that way, we learned to perceive responsibility as something like, I'm a responsible human being, and therefore I like to take responsibility for others. For instance, in business, and that's what we're working on, right? We take on a client and we assume that we're 100% responsible for the client's results. Now, which seems and feels very natural because, gosh, especially if they pay a lot of money, let's say for your one-on-one coaching or for high-level packages, etc. Of course, we do have a responsibility to deliver. And yet often what we do is we take on even responsibility that is really not ours to take. But the lower mind's perspective, or if you like, it comes through the prostitute archetypes, is, all right, client paid me money, so now I will need to do whatever it takes to make sure that client will or can get result. And therefore, we are asking ourselves questions such as, do they have absolutely everything they need to be able to get that result? Will they get result? What if they don't get result? What if, you know, they sign up with me and they pay for this outcome, whatever that outcome is, and what if they don't get result? And am I giving them enough? Am I giving them enough support? Do they have all that it needs? Let me know who can recognize yourself in this thinking. If that's you, do know that the lower mind's archetypes and a consciousness is sneaking in, and we are not holding, or you're not holding or perceiving responsibility in the healthiest way. It's this way that leads to very unhealthy patterns in business and life, and a wounded feminine patterns, such as overgiving to clients. Or, you know, it starts even from marketing and like, let's say, undercharging, okay? Because we want to help people. We're making ourselves almost like saviors of the planet, saviors of the people. I really want to help you. I know nobody, I really want to help you. So we discount, we make it super easy for the clients to sign up, whatever they can afford, or we make crazy long-ass payment plans that go way, 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 way beyond when the actual service is finished. So in that way, you know, what we're doing is we really are falling into saving and overgiving mentality. We're taking on responsibility that is not ours to take. It can happen obviously in the delivery of the service, as in, oh, you know, what else do I need to give them? Maybe some of you will recognize yourself in maybe going back and forth with your clients, answering all their questions beyond your working time, absolutely not respecting your own boundaries because you are so committed and you took on responsibility for your client. You've got to make sure that your client is looked after, is supported, and gets resolved. So you go beyond your personal boundaries, you break them, and you make yourself sometimes tired because you go back and forth with your client, you over give, and then you're wondering, and I heard this among some of my clients, but where is the time for selling? Where is the time for marketing? Where is the time for me? I've got to deliver service. When I get fully booked with my clients, it's crazy. Okay, so if that's happening, do know that it's the root cause of it. You're taking responsibility that is not yours. Okay, you fell into that lower archetypal behavior. It's like over devouring mother archetype. I'm gonna look after you, my darling, and I'm gonna feed you, and I'm gonna push you up the hill. I want you to be where I am. I want you to be where you want to be, but I'm going to push you up the hill. Well, not only this harms clearly ourselves as the change makers, entrepreneurs, business CEOs, it's not only harms us, it harms clients too. This is the thing that we want to realize. This empowers clients big time, because any time we do something where we take on responsibility that is not ours to take, and therefore we overgive or save in whatever capacity, we also are taking away from the client their inherent ability to tap into themselves, into the infinite depth of themselves, and wake up resources they have to make their light fully shine, to empower themselves and change anything they want under your guidance, with your help. Okay, so it harms the client when we do pushing. It's not only harms us, it harms our clients. And what it does, often it creates the codependency between the client and the service provider, the coach, etc., etc. So for us as service providers or entrepreneurs, when we have a client, what we often do through overgiving, through saving, through making sure we do what it takes for the client to get results, we're also feeding our sense of worth. So that's what is unconscious need met for us. So we're dependent on the clients that they need to need us for us to feed that sense of, oh yeah, I'm a good person, I'm helping them, I'm supporting them. Okay, that's not healthy. For the client too, they become codependent on us, on our guidance. When something, oh, I have a question, I'm not, let me just ask, they'll solve it for me. My coach, my service, that's what I'm paying for, they'll solve everything for me. It will be offered for me on a platter. So they're codependent, they're putting the cause of their success on you. Super unhealthy. And let me know if you find yourself in any of these patterns. I certainly have, to various degrees in past. At one point, I was super exhausted out of that, so started to make these changes. But this can easily happen. And that's all comes down to how we frame that responsibility. When we frame it in the lower mind's way, from the position of I'm a savior, and also I want to be saved, then it causes all of this issue. But there is another way to look at the responsibility, the higher mind's way, if you like. This is when we take our level of consciousness or the way of seeing things, viewing things, to the highest level possible, to the as me consciousness, to the consciousness where we know and realize that there are no other people, there are only me, my mirrors, and I'm a creator of it all. So I'm experiencing myself through other people, etc., etc. And the higher mind's way to see the responsibility is this. And this is going to sound very harsh to start with, or maybe challenging to start with. So I need you to stay with me. A little truth bomb. You have only one responsibility, only one. And that responsibility is to foster and nurture your own light. Your only responsibility that truly matters is to make sure that you look after integrity of your own being, that you look after your own energy, that you look after your own alignment, and you grow it. You grow that light, you grow that energy. That's how you expand. So from the offset, this may sound very selfish, right? Because when we actually apply this, what it means that in day-to-day business and life, if we apply this, we will be forced, if you like, based on this principle, that my only responsibility is to look after my own alignment and to make aligned choices for me, is to actually take steps forward that may not positively impact those around us. And this is humanly very, very hard sometimes, yes? But I need you to absolutely get this principle. So let's talk about it a little bit. Because when you get it, then you can apply those 5 things that I have for you. You can imagine yourself as a light, a light being, energy. And of course, when you work on yourself and on your energy and on expanding your business, which is, of course, extension of your energy, extension of your soul, and you grow your impact, etc., etc., that lights get bigger and bigger, right? And when you continually stepping into your divine feminine and into bigger embodiment of who you really are, the powerful creator, limitless creator, that light gets bigger. Now, it is only then when we are actually supporting others, even if it's hard stuff, way more than wanting to do it for them. And I may get tangled up here a little bit, but you will get this. So there is one principle I want to share with you. Some of you have heard this before, some of you have not, but it's a beautiful guiding principle that when we get it in fullness, then it will solve lots of your decision making and you can literally break through those financial ceiling and get your impact to the next level so much quicker. And that is this: what is right for me is right for everyone. It's going very much to do with that only responsibility I have is to look after my own alignment, energy, my own light. So what is right for me is right for everyone involved. What is right for me is right for everyone involved. Now, I'm not speaking about what is the easiest for me, what is the most convenient for me, what is right for me, i.e., what is aligned with my purpose, is right for everyone involved. So let's look at some examples here. I've just heard from a couple of clients today on this very theme. One client said, I'm paraphrasing and I'm keeping the client anonymous, of course, that they really want to do something that they love, but what stops them is they already have got a structure in a business where they've got employees, and if they go after their purpose, they would have to perhaps let go of the employees, very loyal employees. So they feel I'm responsible for them. And yet, what I'm saying here is that we are in this way taking responsibility that is not ours. So we are harming those employees, because if we go by principle, what is right for me, aligned with my higher purpose, is right for everyone involved. So in this case, what is right, it's obviously what is right is for this powerful woman to go and take that aligned action. So to go and be aligned with her purpose, to go after that, what she wants to do, will love to do, how she wants to bring the genius into the world. And yes, so what is right for me, that is what's right for her. That's aligned with her higher purpose. And yes, in a short term, or from a human perspective, it may put, let's say, those employees in a not very nice situation to start with. Let's say they may lose their security or a job. But we also want to realize that from higher perspective, if it's right for me and it's right, it's going to be right for that person, because by not doing so, we're actually holding them hostages of where they are. We're having a codependent relationship, and for them to, let's say, they be let go, they will need to come out with resources of their own and possibly move them in direction that is aligned with their purpose in a way that they were not able to while they're still employed in their comfort zone. Does it make sense? You just got to trust. And I've seen this unfolding so many times in my own life and amongst clients' life, that it's unbelievable, but it's the simple principle that is tricky to apply. But just knowing that what is right for me, as long as I'm looking on integrity of my being, what is right, what is aligned with my purpose, I trust that it's gonna be the right for everyone else. So I'm going to start tapping into those 5 points, practical points that you can do to expand your energy and to completely reframe how to hold responsibility, how you hold the responsibility in your mind, and how you behave, decide, hold energy for the clients, etc., is this: hold others in higher potential. Because also when we think like that, oh, but I have responsibility for my employees, I have responsibility for my clients, I have responsibility for people I love, we're actually not holding them in the highest potential, right? I always, you know, let's say when I promote my programs, always one of the promises I know, the way that the beautiful results and extraordinary growth is delivered, is that I will hold you in your highest potential. I know you're resourceful, infinitely resourceful women and entrepreneurs, and I'll create the environment where you can get out of it. So I'll remind you when you're not in that potential, I'll hold it. That also means sometimes letting clients go through their struggles, rather than, of course, me wanting to solve everything for them. because it builds their character, it's getting those resources out. But that perception of the clients and people you love, your employees, team members, etc., people around you, holding them in the highest potential is very, very important, rather than treating them like little innocents in a nappy. I'm responsible for you, so I'm gonna make sure you're okay. Hard to hear sometimes, right? So hold people in the higher potential. And there's one journaling prompt you can do to start expanding that energy, or you can reflect on, and that is, where am I serving others? Where am I seeing others for less than who they are and treating them such? So others meaning your clients, others meaning your employees, team members, people you love. Where am I seeing others for less than who they really are and treating them such? Does this make sense? Second thing, what we want to do. That's on me. Yeah. How do I know? Second thing you'll want to do in order to expand your energy or redefine responsibility and how you organize it in your life and business is to start appreciating a little more the value of contrast for others. Again, this is very connected to what just been talking about. What is right for me is right for everyone. The value of contrast for others and for ourselves. So you see, because this is actually a little tricky and hard stuff we're talking about, because when we truly are putting ourselves first, essentially, and taking it as my biggest responsibility is to look after my own light and my alignment and take the decisions and step forward that are right for me and trusting it's right for everyone. What we want to also appreciate is that if it negatively affects others, it's or temporarily, it's not going, we're not harming them, we're empowering them, and it's going to essentially help them out to grow, to expand, to move on their own soul journey. That's the very definition of contrast. And sometimes it's essential to appreciate the value of the contrast for ourselves, but also for others. Now, I'll give you a very personal example from my family. And on the surface, it's actually really quite heartbreaking. It's a tragedy. So one of my dear nieces, 5-year-old niece, was diagnosed with leukemia. Bless her heart. And you can imagine, of course, I was in huge shock, crying for the whole family, on a whole big shock. So, 5-year-old on the surface, of course, it's not fair. And of course, it's a heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking for the little child to having to go through this. 5-year-old, she didn't deserve this. And yet, this is the real example of this too, not only how I found a relief, but how perhaps I am and those around me in better position to support my little niece. And that is that looking after my own energy, my own alignment is the biggest gift I can give. Sure, we can maybe help financially, but we cannot take the suffering away, right? But here is the point about the value of contrast. It's heartbreaking, it's unfair, but also this is gonna be her making. Sure, her and her parents, yes, it will be some years of hell while she goes through the therapy, etc., etc. But my goodness, this soul in a 5-year-old child, this beautiful human being, there is nothing she won't be able to achieve in your life when she goes through this. This is her making. This is her character building. This is her nod point that she chose for herself. And I'm looking, of course, from spiritual high level, that she chose for herself to help her to fulfill her purpose. So it's no matter what we do, we cannot take it away from her. We would, but it also, we would take away from her the gift she created for herself so she can grow into her fullness. And so her parents, if they allow it to see it that way, if they do, of course, and us, then we can support her in the most powerful way, seeing this as temporary and gift for the future. She's gonna be limitless. I know that because of that. And I know that communicating this energy is going to be far healthier for the child, even though it's not going to take away from pain. Gosh, no, it's not. But it's going to be far healthier for the child than giving in to the sadness and a trauma of it. Does it make sense? It's a hard topic, but this is what it means, being able to appreciate the value of contrast for others and for ourselves. It comes in a horrible packaging sometimes, but nothing, we cannot create nothing that we did not choose, our soul didn't choose for higher purpose, if we are willing to at least mind trip, open ourselves that there is a gift, and it's safe for others. So when we choose our own light, our own alignment, and temporarily it negatively affects to others, do trust that it's their own soul agreement too, and their own not point, their own gift in not so nice packaging that will allow them to come to their fullness and move them on their soul journey on their own expansion. And thank you. Thank you. So do you see that? Yes. So we can apply this to so many things, but all together, I want you. The reason why I'm talking about this is, I believe it's our responsibility as women to free ourselves from that cloak of responsibility and burdens that is not ours, because it really dims our light. It really does. And when we are able to do that, not only we are empowering others, we are empowering ourselves, and we are able to serve a lot more people. So it's same for how we hold the energy for the clients, right? So by the way, I'm going to summarize a little bit before I move to point 3. So we already got hold others in higher potential with a little journaling prompt. Where am I seeing others for less than they truly are and treating them as such? We have got appreciate the value of contrast. So a little journaling prompt or something to reflect on is how this could be a gift for me or them. And remind yourself that what is right for me is right for everyone. Okay? So that's that. So number 3, we want to redefine what is our responsibility as a service provider and what is responsibility of our clients. Here you can literally take a notebook and divide it into 2 columns and literally write, what is it that you, when you take on the client for group program, for mastermind, for one-on-one coaching, for whatever service, whatever you provide, what is your responsibility in it and what is your client's responsibility in it? And have a look what's healthy, what is not, and adjust it if you need to. If you find that you're taking on too much responsibility, then we want to adjust it, okay? So redefine it, have a look how you frame that responsibility now, and do we need to have some changes? I believe we both have, yes, we still have 100% responsibility, but not to make it for the clients. We have got 100% responsibility to be in alignment, anchoring environment for the client. So that product, that service that you provide is an environment for the client, which when client steps into it, will give them resources they need to grow, to transform, whatever is it that you're helping them from. I frame it as a little, almost like a forest or a park that is extension of your energy. There is not you, it's extension of your energy, and it's got almost energy of its own, where yes, you give and you define, you give this coaching, you give these resources, what clients truly need, not overgive what clients truly need. And that is your responsibility to be in alignment. And when you do that, when you are reflecting on what's my responsibility and what's my client's responsibility, so let's say your client's responsibility might be, it's to be honest, it's to be coachable, whatever it might be. If you find that currently, you're taking on too much responsibility, that's where you feel like you give too much, you overgive, like, oh my goodness. So let's redefine it. So this will be your little challenge. Okay, Mas says, thanks, Lenka. This is a big thing for me. Good, good. This will be a little challenge to truly look at, how you frame responsibility, what you take on for your client's responsibility, and how you're going to change that. And then once you make the decision energetically, internally, then of course you communicate it with your clients as part of your marketing, and it will happen naturally. Let's say I was promoting, I don't know, my mastermind or my Extraordinary Growth Academy, so it naturally will come out of you that you write it on the sales pages or in the marketing. I'm not gonna do it for you. Sometimes you will go through even maybe your little hardships through there, but I do know that there's environment and the resources in there that will help you to come to your fullness and create that extraordinary growth. Does it make sense? So, but most importantly, you've got to be clear internally, in your energy, what is your responsibility, what is your client's responsibility. So that's the point number 3, refine, if you like, responsibilities for you and your clients in coaching or service-based capacity. So that's number 3. Number 4, break overgiving and saving patterns. So this is where you will want to reflect a little bit. Where am I overgiving? Where am I saving others? Yes. So we talked about at the beginning about some examples. So just reflect on it, where you're doing it in a business, but also perhaps in your life, with your family members, with your friends, etc., etc. Now, some people ask, well, but I like to give. So what's the difference between giving and overgiving? Well, there's a huge difference. Of course, we love to give. Giving is when it feels freaking good. It feels expansive. It's a joy to give. We all love to give. But overgiving is when we are, number one, not having that, we're not initiating, let's say, sales in a business. So there is no balance between giving and taking. There must be a balance, and it's up to us to create that balance by redefining our boundaries, by selling, initiating, etc. But overgiving is whenever we feel like we're sacrificing for something, part of us when we're giving. There is a sacrifice in it. Maybe a little bit of resentment. Maybe, you're sacrificing your fullness in some way when you overgive. The difference will become very clear when you feel into the energy of the giving. Yes, giving feels freaking good. Overgiving or doing things out of obligation, you're giving it, or others because you feel like you must, you should, you need. That doesn't feel typically good. So maybe we're sacrificing, I don't know, the sense of integrity, sense of power, whatever it might be. But that's the difference. So where am I overgiving? And where am I saving? Where do I want to save others? Yes, the most powerful way to serve others is to really be on that hill, be in that, look after that integrity of our own energy and nurture our own energy, appreciate the power of it, power of our energy, just the power for the clients to swim in that energy, and allow clients to make their own journey up. So give them the tools, give them the resources that you would while feeling good, and allow them to make their way up to get that result, the transformation, that growth they need. Also, that's still in this line, where do I want to save where do I want to be saved? Where do I want to be saved? Because if we are falling into saving patterns somewhere with clients or other people in our lives, guaranteed there will be aspect of us that we want to be saved. And then when you identify some area or areas where you do indeed overgive, you do indeed want to do saving, or you do indeed want to be saved, then you want to break those patterns by doing something in complete opposite direction. Okay, so this is what I call quantum action. You'll know this already. Okay, 5th point. This is a little extra, and that is offload to the universe. And this is the responsibilities that are not yours. So basically, I was talking about how taking on responsibilities, burdens, that is not ours, really create like those cloaks, and it prevents us from shining that full light. And sometimes there are things that we take on ourselves that we don't even humanly cannot influence. Taking control where we shouldn't take control, or we want to micromanage, or we want to solve things that we cannot. So anything that you find challenging, hard, or simply know that you're taking on you, that it's not yours to take, you can simply offload to the universe within. How do you do it? It's few simple ways. Number one, you may have heard this from Esther Hicks or Abraham Hicks. They used to talk about a placeholder, something. So basically, Esther Hicks was once in the restaurant and she felt overwhelmed. So she sat down in a restaurant and she said, universe, help me out with this. Like, I'm overwhelmed here, like this is too much to take control of, too much responsibility. So she started to write down, can you help with this, 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 this? And suddenly she started to get phone call, like it became a million times easier for her because the universe within responds, you see? When you're communicating to the universe, to God, to higher power, anything that you perceive is supporting you, you're really communicating with a deep, deep aspect of self that is way more wiser than our physical brains. So the universe will respond. So you can use this placeholder, whatever it's called, napkin, anything that bothers you, offload to the universe, or write a letter to the universe, to the God. I'm offloading this to you. I cannot do anything here. Can you support me here? Or my dear coach reminded me of this wonderful metaphor for some of you. You can imagine an altar where you bring those things and place on the altar. I'm not, this is yours, please, to look after. I'm giving this to you, please, to take care of. I cannot, okay? So this is the offloading that which is not yours to take. That which is not yours to take control of, etc., etc. Okay? So a little journaling prompt before you do that. Where am I taking control where it's not my place? And that resumes a little class on responsibility. When you apply this, now this is a process, okay? This is a process, as in, let's be human to ourselves and self-compassionate to ourselves. Perhaps even here you realize, oh, sugar, I'm doing this is not healthy. So you're not gonna change it all in one day. Work with your ego mind, but focus on one thing at a time, but be aware. This awareness is way more powerful. You're in a far bigger place. And let me know, did you become aware of some things you can do to actually expand your energy through redefining responsibility in this little class? Have you become aware of what you can do, or where you've been making your light smaller? If you have become aware, you're in far more powerful place than you were just 40 minutes ago, okay? So do know that you're in a bigger flow than you were 40 minutes ago, so you can just have a commitment, place commitment. I'm going to change all these things, and that's way more powerful than, what I don't want you to do, because that's a little danger always, that when you become aware, oh, sugar, I need to change this, that you will think, oh, but now it's affecting me and therefore people will not want to buy or whatever, right? No, you're in far bigger flow because you got awareness, even though you didn't break all the patterns or integrate all the patterns fully, than you were without that awareness, okay? So lastly, I want to give you a couple of updates, exciting updates. So one personal one, a little celebration. My book is going to be published in Slovakia and potentially Czech Republic next year. First half of the year. So this is a great news, which was just coined. But there is one thing that we need is translator. That's one thing that that we need is a translator from English to Slovak. So I'm actually reaching out to you, anyone who is listening, if you do know of anyone who is experienced translator and can translate book from English to Slovak language and potentially Czech, I would love to hear through email love@lenkalutonska.com. I would absolutely love, you know, it needs to be experienced translator. Doesn't necessarily need to be that I translated many books, but a written word, literature, etc., etc. So that's one personal, perhaps, celebration and asking for help. Secondly, I wanted to mention the energetically aligned SFAC course and 50% discount opportunity. Because following the Miracle Woman experience, following the Extraordinary Growth Academy, and I initiated well over 50 new clients and also open up a new mastermind, high-level mastermind group. So we've got lots of goodness going on, but some women were not in for whatever reason in a place to invest in Extraordinary Growth Academy, but they wanted to do something, and they found the energetically aligned AF course, and that's actually perfect course to work on our energy holistically for the purpose of extraordinary growth. So they asked me, where can I access, some clients asked me, where can I access this fabulous special offer? And yes, you can. So have a look on the website for the description of energetically aligned AF course. It's a very wholesome course about getting aligned all aspects of your business and energy with your greatest success. It's a very wholesome course. We'll put in the comments the class or master class with a very special offer just for that class, where you can get 50% off the energetically aligned course, okay? With a payment plan and a bonus course on energetic launches, which is very powerful in itself, the course in itself. And this is the only course, energetically aligned AF is the only course which we fully deduct from the investment of Extraordinary Growth Academy. So let's say for those of you who didn't step into Extraordinary Growth Academy this time, but would want to in 6 months, this is almost like your step towards it, because you upgrade later rather than invest again. Does it make sense? We deduct the fee from EAF from Extraordinary Growth Academy. Anyway, too much info at this point. So everyone, let's go and redefine that responsibility, shall we? Absolute pleasure to be connecting with you like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.